So we are currently working on these tiny little areas. Do you see that? We're working on the letter C's. Here's the painting so far. It's going well. The paints, the thingy, the light, all the stuff. But yeah, this is it so far. Hi guys, today's video we are going to be doing 22 life lessons at 22 years old, and we're going to do this while I'm painting, so let's stick around and see what happens. Okay, so our first one is no one really knows what they're doing. And this is something I've learned, like everyone around you seems like they know what they're doing. Maybe they look very successful, maybe they look like they're very driven. But truthfully, very rarely do people actually know what they're doing, who they want to be, and what they want to accomplish in life. And so don't worry about comparing yourself or feeling guilty when you don't know what you're doing. No one really does, and anyone who does know what they're doing when it comes to certain tasks or certain things they've learned, have learned so by actually practicing and doing that. At some point in their life, they too have also not had a clue as to what they are doing. The second one is going to be your passion will find you. I have been sick for a very long time, a very, very long time, and I'm just starting to get over that curve of figuring out what's going on and how to manage it. And it's still a struggle because I still want to accomplish a lot of things, but over the years I've noticed that there are certain things that just don't leave even if you're at your lowest. For me, this is art. I love drawing, I love learning, I love painting, everything and anything in between. I just love existing and figuring out what exactly I want to do creatively. So my passions tend to always follow me, find me wherever I may be, even at my lowest lows. So if you don't feel like you have a passion, the best thing I can say is just try things and experiment, and eventually it'll find you. It just kind of has a natural way of appearing, and at least that was the case for me. Third is relaxation can be hard, especially for driven people. I have been surrounded by people who are very driven all my life, and I've noticed that there are some people who can just go and go and go, and they find it actually really hard to relax and take a breather. This was actually the topic of a women's retreat I went to earlier this year, and it was very interesting to learn that because I find that I need to take a break and I need to relax, otherwise I get burnt out extremely easily, whereas some other people are simply all about going and completing everything and anything they can. Next is your inner child needs room in your life. So I am a very kind of mature but also childish person. I can be very playful and very kid-like at the same time. I can be very mature when I need to be. The important thing here is remembering that there is a certain time and a certain place for everything. And it's okay to have that inner child run around and explore, learn new things, play, occasionally make yourself a pillow fort and just enjoy your day, watch some Disney movies or listening to some old music and things like that. And I find that this is very important for me because I like to remember that I'm not just an adult. I'm not just becoming a wiser, more mature person, but I'm also taking care of this more vulnerable, emotional, and sensitive side to me. And so I think it's very important that sometimes you just need to take a break and have fun and make sure that your inner child is healing or getting the attention it needs and deserves. The next one is like-minded people kind of flock together and motivate and support you. I have a lot of dreams and ambitions, and you guys have heard some of them, and some of them are beyond wild and crazy, and it's super important for me, at least, that I get the support and motivation that I need in order to keep pushing forward, because I'm kind of insecure about a lot of things.
You're a little off, but I think it's fine. I think that's a good angle. I did not check it because my leg fell asleep and I was not getting up today. And I'm covering these little dots and stars, but I think the paint is fun enough that I can actually see through it a bit, so I should be able to go back and tackle those. Oh wow. Look at her go. Look at her go.
This next one is kind of touchy, but unconditional love does not always mean staying. And this one I learned from kind of a toxic relationship at some point in my life. I don't really get into it because it didn't last that long, but I did have one of those, and it was something that I had to learn. And it was the long process of healing afterwards, but yeah, it's something I've learned, and it's something I feel like everyone should keep in mind.
Oh no. There we go, maybe. Oh man. Today's camera's getting everywhere. Not today. It was behaving earlier. We just have a little moment.
The next lesson is creativity knows no limits. This was actually a really fun discovery for me because I started dreaming in different languages. I started dreaming in very abstract forms of art, and it was super duper fun.
I gave you guys a new camera angle after my foot or leg absolutely disregarded my wishes.
The next lesson is showing up for yourself is half of the battle, and not giving up is the other half. So I have been going through this health journey. I've been going through this journey of self-improvement and trying to do my very, very, very best. And showing up is like half the battle because it's so hard, especially on days where you're not motivated or days you're not feeling good, and it's just such a struggle. And then once you start, not giving up is the other half. When you start running, walking, being consistent is the other half of the battle. At least it is for me, and so I thought that was something I'd share. As for the next one, mind and body are one. This is something I've discovered on my health journey when I realized that if I got sick or I had worse days, that my mental health would also kind of crash. And similarly, on great days, my mental health would peak and I'd be at my best. The next one is skills are always to be crafted. So this one is something I believe in, where you can learn anything and try anything. And the key to making it great is a lot of practice. I'll be honest, I am still constantly learning about art, still constantly trying to improve, which is why whenever I post art videos or reels or anything, I always put practice in the hashtags, because I know I'm not the best, but I kind of want to learn how to be better. The next one is no one who dared to put in the effort will judge you for trying. This one is actually based off one of like a smaller video I made here on YouTube, where I posted a video kind of to be silly, and for the first time in my life I got kind of like disliking comments that were only posted after someone complimented me, and I got really nervous, I got really insecure because I wasn't really serious about the video and I wasn't like really into it honestly, but I thought it was a little funny, so I posted it anyway. And I noticed that the person who commented the nice stuff had maybe like 1,000 followers or subscribers here on YouTube, and had not even posted a singular video or have any followers. And I was like, this kind of makes sense in a way, because I'm out here just being silly, creating content, enjoying myself, trying to have a fun time. And the only people who really have something to say or put you down about it are people who, one, maybe disagree with a controversial idea, which I've never really posted anything conflict like anything like that. Whereas the other group of people tend to try to create and have experience trying to create, whether it's editing or acting or anything in between. The next one is floor time is a must. And if you don't know what floor time is, this is basically where you just kind of lay down on the floor and exist. I do this so often, especially when I'm stressed. That way I can kind of clear my mind and feel a little at peace. The next one is celebrating yourself or your success isn't a crime. This is honestly something I'm learning. It's something I'm trying to grow at, because I still struggle kind of marketing myself when it comes to YouTube videos and things like that. But I'm slowly getting better and slowly trying to become more confident in saying, hey, I did this thing. Everyone should come check it out. The next one is I want to inspire people. So I have a lot of dreams, I have a lot of ambitions, and I definitely want to try and reach those goals, from publishing a book to possibly getting into voice acting to creating art and just being very creative and free in every way. And at the end of the day, I wondered why I wanted to do all these things. And it's one, because I enjoy it. Two, because I want to inspire people. And that's something I really hope to do and achieve. And the next one is my peace is kind of contagious in a way. When you're at peace, I've noticed that it kind of spreads in a way. If you're calm and you kind of like take your time, or you clean or anything like that, when you do something, it can affect the other people around you. That's why in mornings it's so important to have a good morning, because the morning sets the tone of the day. Similarly, if you're doing something, it can set the tone of a room or the people around you. Oh my gosh, we're so close to finishing. The next one is don't completely trash ideas. And this is something I struggled with, because I have definitely drawn some horrible sketches when I was learning how to do art, and I still occasionally do, because I still wake up and I have my bad days where I can't really do art amazingly well, and it is so hard to just keep it and look back to see how I've grown, because instead of being like, the goal here is to eventually look back and be like, wow, I've grown so much, instead of cringing and being like, oh no, which is definitely a difficult task. The next one is investing in yourself is scary. For me, this is so true, because I have had those times where I've had to like get a camera or use a microphone or anything like that and just go for it. And investing in yourself is so scary, because you're kind of like putting in this investment. The idea is you're paying yourself in something, whether you're getting yourself a camera, whether you're getting yourself a microphone or an art set or anything. You're kind of investing in one, either your hobbies and you're just doing it to enjoy it, or you're investing in a potential future where you're creating things and it's actually working out. The next one is you can walk further than if you run. So this is mostly about my health. I noticed that there are a lot of times I want to sprint forward and I want to complete a bunch of tasks. However, there's this kind of theory of having spoons, where if you're chronically ill, if you're disabled, if you have mental illness or anything like that, you will wake up with a certain amount of energy. And these are like spoons. So maybe you wake up with like 10 spoons a day, and each task you do requires spoons, from driving to cooking to thousands upon thousands of spoons, and it only takes a few to like go on a hike or complete the dishes, things like that. Whereas people who struggle with these things have limited spoons, and it means they can't really do as much, and it drains them just to get up or go to the doctor's office, which is something that's kind of frustrating, but it's something that if I walk and slowly do tasks, I can actually get farther than sprinting and trying to get there. The next one is do a little both of far and like long-term and short-term goals. Sorry for the accent change there. But I do this mostly because I have ADD or ADHD, and a lot of the time I get a little bit of dopamine when I complete a task. And I have a lot of long-term goals. However, having short-term goals is extremely important too. That way I don't give up on the long-term goals. So for me, this is kind of like posting weekly and trying to complete certain tasks. Sorry, I hear my mom screaming in the house. Not screaming, but silly screaming. Work hard for what you want. This is something that I've always been told, and it's kind of true. You don't have to necessarily drain yourself, but keeping in mind your goals and making sure you're taking the steps to reach those goals however you need to is extremely important. We're so close to finish. Putting yourself first isn't selfish. That's really hard for me to do because I love taking care of everyone else's problems, or at least hearing them out and giving suggestions. I normally try to give it in a very kind of sensitive way, or a way that ensures they know that it is not me telling them what to do, it's just what I would consider doing. Because you can only control yourself. This is a good one. So remember to thank or comment on people's videos or things like that who inspire you, because I absolutely, I was so nervous to start commenting. I was one of those people who always just watches, maybe leaves a like, and kind of just continues on with my day. And recently I've started liking and commenting on people's videos and things like that, because I realized that when I receive things like that, I get super duper happy and super excited. And I realized that all the other content creators I simply adore also have the same reactions. So I absolutely adore commenting and being like, oh, thank you so much, you've inspired me, you've made my day a little bit brighter, or things like that. That is something that I love doing, but that's something I found out I love doing, which is amazing, because I didn't know I liked doing that. The last one is kind of like the reason I love my cats, which is super funny. This is kind of weird because it's something I think about a lot. I'm like, listen, humans are a little bit weird. They're very skeptical creatures, and they have a very social, and a lot of opinions. And so when it comes down to it, it's a little bit judgy. However, I've also noticed that I could have the worst haircut in the world, and my cat will still be like, well, you feed me, love me, and give me cuddles, so I don't care. And that kind of makes me feel a little bit better in a way, in a sense that I don't need to work for approval necessarily when it comes to pets or animals, because they don't really mind things like that. And I appreciate that extremely deeply. Okay, that was the last one. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that is 22 things I've learned at 22. This month is my birthday a little live. I'm hoping this month has a lot of content.